Denji is a broke orphan loser who can't find a single baddie who'll let him juice her melons. However, he's saved from this miserable fate when he turns into a devil and finds a plotful devil hunter who wants to make taboo babies with him. At the beginning, it was another shitty day for Denji. He wakes up in his poor man's house and gets ready for work. On his walk to his job, he starts counting how much money he has made after selling off one of his kidneys, his right eye, one of his baby jewels. After counting, it earns him almost 2 million, which is still way off the amount needed to pay off his debt of 38 million. After he arrives at his devil hunting job, he picks up his clapped-looking dog, Pochita, and turns it into his chainsaw weapon to clap the demon. He then finds the tomato-looking devil, and with Pochita as his weapon, Denji easily turns it into ketchup. The Yakuza boss is happy with his work, and while he rewards Denji with 400,000 yen at first, with his debts and all the side costs, it only leaves Denji with 70,000 yen to live. He starts counting for his water and electricity bills and realizes that he only has less than 2,000 yen to live for a month, so he tells Pochita that they'll be having a slice of bread for dinner. Meanwhile, the Yakuza boss gets asked by his underling why they use Denji's services, and the boss tells him that it is because of Denji's idiotic dad who died, leaving him with his debt to the Yakuza. He adds that professional devil hunters are not willing to sell the devil's carcass, but Denji is willing to do anything he's asked to. Just then, the underling drives next to Denji and offers him 100 yen for him to eat his cigarette, and Denji gladly does it, so he can eat bread for 3 more days. However, after the car leaves, he spits it out and goes home with the extra 100. Then he vents to Pochita about his pathetic life of not being able to afford even a jar of jam for his bread, and wishing that one day he will get himself a girl who will tickle his one bald pickle.
Yeah, boy.
He remembers when his father died after hanging himself. The Yakuza told Denji to pay them 700,000 by the next day, or they would chop him and feed him to the dogs. Just then, Denji met Pochita, a chainsaw devil who back then wanted to slice Denji to pieces, and Denji told it to do it as he had no more will to live. However, Denji noticed that Pochita was bleeding, and realizing how close they both were to death, Denji told it to bite him and drink his blood so Pochita could live. It nibbled on Denji's hand, and he told the little devil that with this help, they would have to help each other as Denji wanted to live. From then on, Denji with Pochita as his weapon offered himself to the Yakuza to be their devil hunter. Now Denji tells Pochita that he wishes to dream about bread jams and sweet cheeks to clap in his sleep, but suddenly he coughs out blood and tells Pochita that his mother died from heart disease with the same symptoms. Just then, the Yakuza knocks on his door, telling him that they need Denji to slay another devil. They take him to an abandoned factory, and while Denji asks his boss about the devil he needs to slay, the boss acts suspicious and tells Denji that they don't need him anymore. Suddenly, he gets stabbed in the back by a zombie, and the boss reveals that the Yakuza has sold himself for demonic powers, but instead of getting it, they all turn into zombie slaves for the zombie devil. It orders the now zombie Yakuza members to cut Denji, the devil hunter, to pieces and throw him in the trash. Denji tries his best to escape despite his stab wound, but just as he almost reaches the exit, he gets slashed, causing him to fall. The zombies swarm him and stab him again and again, and while Denji screams in agony, they stab even more. Afterward, they throw what's left of Denji and Pochita in the trash, but a stream of Denji's blood manages to reach Pochita and wakes him up. Pochita sees his memories with Denji when he tells him that he will die one day fighting a devil, and it scares Denji to imagine Pochita alone, starving with devil hunters gunning for him. Denji tells Pochita to take over his body with his devil skill after Denji dies, and moves away far from there so Pochita can live a normal life and die a normal death while making his dream come true. This memory triggers the almighty plot armor inside Pochita, and he puts Denji's body into one piece as he turns himself into Denji's new heart. In Denji's subconscious, he meets Pochita, who tells him that he has given Denji his heart. In exchange, Pochita will get to see Denji fulfilling his dreams to clap cheeks. Denji wakes up and looks at his chest to see Pochita's tail, realizing that he has become his new heart. It surprises the zombie devil to see Denji alive in one piece and orders his zombies to swarm and eat him, but Denji, with the power of his friendship, has other ideas. He pulls his heartstrings, and while the zombies manage to swarm him, the zombie devil hears the sound of a chainsaw. From the swarm, Denji in his new devil form slashes through the zombies and goes straight at the zombie devil, slashing one of his eyes out. The devil yeets Denji away, right in front of the zombies, and while the zombie swarm tries to contain Denji, he slashes through all of them like a hot knife through butter. Having enough, Denji runs straight towards the zombie devil, passing the zombies on his way, and despite the monster's best attempts, Denji manages to reach the zombie devil and slices it in half. Denji looks around to see that the Yakuza members did not turn back to normal, but instead of feeling sad, he feels relieved as now he doesn't have to pay his debts anymore, so he starts slashing and dicing every zombie around him until the morning comes. Then 2 cars arrive and 3 devil hunters come inside the factory, only to realize that they are too late to slay the zombie devil. They notice Denji and their red-haired leader approaches him, saying that he doesn't smell like a human or a devil. Like a true Sigma simp, Denji begs her to push her melons to him and give him a hug, and when she does hug him, Denji loses his demon form and returns to his normal form. The girl introduces herself as a devil hunter, and while comforting him, she offers Denji 2 options, which are to either die horribly by her hands like a devil or live as a human in her possession like a pet. Like a true man, Denji accepts her offer and even promises to one day bark and lick her feet like a dog as long as she'll feed him. She then takes him to her car, and inside, he tells him that from now on, she will be his owner, and Denji will be like her dog. Denji thinks to himself how cruel she is, and how unfortunate that he ends up with another bad boss, but then his stomach starts growling, and because of that, she tells him that they're going to stop to get some food at the rest area. Denji tells her that he doesn't have any money, but she tells him that he can pick whatever he wants as she will pay for it. She then gives him her blazer, and it pleases Denji to see someone not disgusted by his smell or appearance. After they arrive at the rest area, Denji happily orders some food, but suddenly, he collapses into her due to his loss of blood and starts sniffing her aggressively. She asks him what happened to him, and he tells her that his pet devil saved him by replacing his heart. After hearing his story, she tells him that in history, no human was ever saved by a devil just like how Pokita saved him, but she assures him that she believes his story. She adds that she has a great sense of smell and can smell both a human and a devil from him. She tells him that Pokita still lives inside of him, and while Denji is happy to hear that, he suddenly collapses. Then he wakes up on her lap and quickly gets up craving his food. She asks Denji if he's okay and if he can eat by himself, and like a true simp, he tells her that he can't eat by himself, so she feeds him his food, and after every bite, Denji barks like a dog. She introduces herself as Makima, and Denji asks her straight for what kind of guys she likes. Makima tells him that she likes guys like Denji, and while it takes him a few seconds to process, he realizes that he has a chance to clap her. Afterward, Makima takes Denji to the Devil Hunter's headquarters, but while she's showing him around, Denji is busy thinking about how much he wants to jiggle her jugs and realizes that he can do that once he works with her enough to get closer to her. She then gives him a uniform to wear and introduces him to a fellow Devil Hunter, Aki, who will act as Denji's senior for patrolling duty. Denji is shocked to hear that he won't be working with Makima's sweet cheeks, and when Aki drags him away, he refuses to go with him. However, Makima approaches him and assures Denji that they will work together if he does well. Denji then patrols with Aki, and while he keeps asking Aki if Makima has a baby daddy, Aki takes him away somewhere quiet and starts beating him up for being a beta simp. Aki tells Denji that he should quit his job as a devil hunter if he doesn't have the right motivation, as it will easily result in his death, and that wanting to clap Makima is not enough as motivation. Denji admits that Makima's sweet cheeks are what he wants, and after hearing this, Aki eats his cigarette at him, spits on it, and tells him that he will tell Makima that Denji ran away out of fear of the devils. However, as Aki walks away, Denji suddenly kicks his baby jewels from the back and continues kicking them to a pulp. Denji tells Aki that after how nice Makima treated him, he doesn't mind dying on this job as long as he gets to continue this new life he just got. Aki tries fighting back, saying that a loser like Denji doesn't deserve to break the bed with Makima, but Denji kicks his baby jewels again and tells him that Makima's cheeks are his to conquer. It leaves Aki unconscious, and when Denji reports back to Makima, he tells her that a nut devil made Aki cream until he's dry. Aki wakes up, telling Makima that Denji is lying, but after seeing this interaction, Makima orders Denji to join Aki's team. Aki asks her what Denji is, and Makima explains the truth that Denji is a special case where a human can turn into a devil. And while Aki is having difficulties believing it, Makima assures him that it's true and that Denji will get special treatment. She adds that if Denji resigns, he will be treated like a real devil, and when Denji asks her what that means, she tells him that he will be treated like an enemy, so he can never quit. Later, Aki takes Denji to his place and tells him that he will be living with him. Denji suddenly asks Aki if Makima is a bad person, and it offends Aki that he asked him that question, as Makima is a devil hunter who once saved his life. After hearing that, Denji is relieved to know that Makima is a good person and tells himself that he wants to hug her again, which shocks Aki, who's jealous to hear that. Following this, Denji lives with Aki, and because of his previous living conditions, Denji lives in Aki's place like a savage who has never eaten jam on bread or used toilet paper properly before. Then, while they're on patrol, they walk into a case of a fiend inside a house. After they enter, Denji asks Aki what a fiend is, and while it surprises Aki that he doesn't know, he explains that a fiend is when a devil controls a human body. Denji asks if that also makes him a fiend, but Aki tells him that a real fiend always looks like they have a clapped head. They then confront the fiend, and Aki tells Denji to use his devil powers to handle it so he can see his ability. But Denji just simply slices the fiend's head using his axe. Denji explains that just like Tanjiro, he can relate to the fiend, hence why he wants to make it painless for them. But Aki scolds Denji, telling him that fiends are just like any other devils. Aki adds that his family died because of a devil and that Denji should never have sympathy for them, as it's either they slay the devils at all costs or people will die because of his sympathy. Denji tells Aki that while devils are evil, he would like to go full fairy tale and befriend them as he never had friends before, and it disappoints Aki to hear that. Aki leaves him, and Denji starts collecting the Dead Fiend's Playboy magazines for his research. Denji remembers what Pokita asked of him and realizes that while he has achieved his dream of living a good life, where food is available and a girl like Makima talks to him, he still thinks that he's missing something. He starts thinking deeper than Aristotle and comes to the conclusion that what his life is missing is that he needs to jiggle some jugs, and with how he now has a job, Makima's melons and cheeks are no longer out of reach. So Denji makes it his goal to one day lay Makima his almighty pipe. Afterward, Makima informs him that she will pair Denji with a new partner, and just as she's talking about her, Denji's new partner walks in, a fiend named Power. Denji wonders if fiends are allowed to work with devil hunters, but after seeing her plumps, Denji gladly takes Power as his new patrol partner. Makima warns them that this team they have is an experimental team, and if they fail, the higher-ups will disband their team and throw both Denji and Power away as devils for them to hunt. Then they go on a patrol where they walk on the roof due to Power's horn being exposed, but after a few minutes, Power smacks Denji's head, telling him to quickly find her a devil to slay as she can't wait to fight them. Meanwhile, like a true simp, Denji is more focused on finding a way to juggle Power's jugs, but on their walk, they run into civilian devil hunters. With Makima's advice, Denji shows them his ID and tells them that they're from the Special Division, prompting the devil hunters to leave them alone. After a few hours, they fail to find any devils, and Power explains that it's because devils are scared of her, who before becoming a fiend, was once a devil feared by all. Denji remembers how Makima said that Aki was the one who put them together, and quickly realizes that Aki screwed him over by pairing him with Power. Suddenly, Power smells blood and runs off towards a sea cucumber devil, and without skipping a beat, she jumps off, uses her blood-manipulating power to create a hammer, and destroys the devil in one hit. Afterward, Makima meets them on location and scolds them for getting involved with a devil that the civilian devil hunters are already taking care of. She scolds Power for being unable to control her patience as the blood devil and tells her that she might not be suitable to be a devil hunter. Power starts panicking and tells Makima that Denji was the one who commanded her to fight the devil earlier, but Denji tells her that Power is lying and that she fought the devil by her own decision. Makima continues to look on as the two devils are arguing, but then she tells them to keep quiet and Power quickly obeys her, which surprises Denji. Later, while Denji is getting some drinks, Power is there with him and he tells her that this life that he has now, he wants to maintain it, and he can't do that if she refuses to work together with him. Suddenly, a cat shows up, and while Power starts comforting it, she reveals that she once had a cat named Mioi that was taken by a devil. Before she got to save Mioi, Power joined Makina, a human which a demon like her hates. But if she can help Mioi with Makima's help, then Power is willing to do it, as saving her cat is her motivation. Denji thinks that her motivation is dumb, while his motivation of wanting to jiggle some jugs is better, and after hearing this, Power offers him her jugs to jiggle, only if he helps her find her cat. With Milky Melons on his mind, Denji suddenly gets fired up, stating that no demon should ever steal a person's cat, and Power is hyped along with him. Then, they get permission from the devil hunters to allow Power to roam free, and when asked, she explains that it's because she has a tendency of wanting to bite people's pickles off. They ride a train to hunt the devil, and while Denji keeps peeking at her plots, he explains that he also had a pet named Pochita once who, despite not being around, is still alive inside him. Instead of sympathizing, Power tells Denji to stop holding on to his dead pet like a pathetic loser and move on, and here, Denji thinks to himself that he would never clap her. Meanwhile, Makima is reporting to the higher-ups who want to know about her team, and she reports that her new members, Denji and Power, are interesting enough to be used to fight against the devils in the future. However, on her way home, Aki tells her that he finds Denji to be disgusting, and he's unable to see which part of him Makima finds to be interesting. While drinking her coffee, she explains that every devil was born with a name, and the more feared they are by their name, the more powerful they will become. She makes an example that if there was ever a coffee devil, she's certain that people wouldn't fear it at all. But if there is a truck devil, people will fear it as they can easily imagine getting rammed hard by Truck-kun, who will send them to another world. With Denji being able to transform into the Chainsaw Devil, Makima sees him as a potentially interesting asset to have. Back with Denji, they arrive at an abandoned house, and Power tells him that it's where a devil is hiding with her cat. As they approach it, Denji realizes something off and asks Power why she would approach the house knowing that the devil will use her cat as hostage if she's involved. Power realizes that she slipped, and suddenly Power smacks Denji's head, knocking him out, saying how easily it is to fool him using her jugs. Power then drags him inside the house, and there, she presents Denji as food for the Bat Devil. He lifts up Denji and shows him the severed arm the devil has because of humans, and he tells Denji that he will eat his blood to revive it. The Bat Devil squeezes Denji like orange juice and drinks his blood, but quickly yeets Denji away due to how disgusting his blood tastes. With his new arm, the Bat Devil plans to eat more humans, and while Denji is lying weak, he remembers how Aki told him that he can't befriend devils. Power looks at him and mocks him for being a foolish human who believes her story. Then in the city, the Bat Devil watches the people there, and while the adults taste disgusting, he wants to devour children as an appetizer. Before he starts his rampage, Power demands that the Bat Devil return Mioi back to her, but as he's about to give the cat back to her, the Bat Devil eats it out of punishment for Power bringing him disgusting blood. Power remembers her first meeting with the cat, and at first she plans to feed it so she can eat the cat afterward. She feeds it milk, and after some time, the cat becomes her friend, which is an unknown concept to her, but suddenly, the Bat Devil shows up, taking the cat, and tells Power to get him a human or he will eat the cat. Now after seeing Mioi eaten, Power looks at Denji and tells him that she finally knows how he felt when he lost Pochita. The Bat Devil then eats Power as well and starts tweaking due to how disgusting she tastes, but as it gives him energy, the Bat Devil flies to the city to mukbang on delicious humans. Just then, he looks at his feet and sees Denji dangling on him. The Bat Devil grabs him, but as he's squeezing Denji to his death, Denji remembers his own past of how Pochita once got lost. After looking for him, Denji finds him back in his shed, and they cuddle as they sleep. In that moment, Denji can sympathize with what Power felt when she lost her cat, and Denji pulls his string and turns into a Chainsaw Devil. He chops the Bat Devil's arm again, and it shocks him to see that Denji is actually a devil. Meanwhile, a female NPC is chilling in her office when both devils fall to her building, destroying her office. Denji tells her to run away, which surprises the Bat Devil to see him care for a human. Denji strikes him away to the city, and there they start throwing hands, but Denji manages to get the upper hand. After seeing him care about a civilian, the Bat Devil yeets a car with a person inside, but Denji catches the whole car and throws it back, not caring about the person inside. It burns the monster's face, and he creates a shockwave cannon to blow Denji away into buildings. Just as he thought he had won, he picks up another human to eat so he can heal, but Denji rises up again, refusing to stand down. Denji declares that he will chop the Bat Devil's gut, all for the sake of jiggling Power's jugs. While the Bat Devil starts panicking out of fear, Denji starts slashing him and opens the Bat Devil's gut to free Power before he lands and poses like a cool superhero. In her dream, Power remembers how she used to eat animals' blood for a living, from birds to cows to even bears, but with her cat by her side, she refuses to eat her own cat. Then, when the Bat Devil took the cat away, she ran to the city, looking for a human to sacrifice to the Bat Devil, but it confuses her why she was willing to do all of this just for a cat. She realizes something and falls down on the road, but when she looks at her bleeding hand, she realizes why she loves her cat, and it's because the cat has warm blood that comforts her, hence why she loves her cat. Power wakes up to Denji, who saved her, and when she asks him why he saved her, Denji gestures that she wants to play with her puddings, which she thinks is a stupid reason. However, as Denji manages to save her cat, Power tells her that he can jiggle her jugs, and Denji screams out in celebration. But suddenly, his hand gets chopped off. From behind, a clapped-looking devil that looks like your mom takes his hand and eats it. And when Denji tries to transform again, he fails to do so because he's low on blood. The monster introduces herself as the Leech Devil, who is also the Bat Devil's baby mama, but after her lover dies, she offers Denji to be her new baby daddy. Denji refuses as he doesn't want to jiggle her prune-looking jugs and starts fighting despite being unable to transform. Denji uses everything he has to beat this funky-looking devil, but he struggles to make a dent. The Leech Devil tells Denji her dream of wanting to eat humanity alongside her past lover, the Bat Devil, but Denji has enough of hearing all the nonsense about dreams and declares a battle of dreams, claiming that if she loses to him, that means her dreams is weaker than a man who wants to mingle some melons. He goes even crazier, punching and using his surroundings to his advantage, almost popping out his right eye. But with his effort, Power watches and thinks to herself how demonic Denji really is. Denji finally manages to get close enough to use his forehead chainsaw, but the Leech Devil manages to stab him first and plans to consume Denji. Just as she's about to do so, Aki pops up and summons his fox to save Denji and eat the Leech Devil. With his team around him, Aki commands them to secure the area while they help Denji, Power, and the cat. Afterward, Denji wakes in a hospital room with Aki beside him, peeling up some apples. He informs Denji that he found his arm, and due to his devil powers, they're able to reattach it. After seeing Aki's fox devil, Denji asks him why he's friendly with that fox, and Aki explains that as a devil hunter, he has to create a contract by giving it a part of his body so the fox devil would want to help him fight off demons. Just as Denji is about to eat the apples, Aki pulls them away and reveals that he managed to track them on their patrol and found trails of Denji's blood into the Bat Devil's house. He asks Denji if Power attacked him, and Denji pretends that he doesn't remember anything. Aki warns him that if he's trying to protect Power, they will both be kicked out by the devil hunters and then hunted by them. But after Aki sees how the people Denji saved in the city are grateful to him, he offers Denji to keep quiet about this if Denji follows everything Aki tells him to do. He hands Denji the apple and tells him that as his senior, Denji has to follow his lead in order for him to maintain this lifestyle Denji previously dreamed of and now living in. Denji agrees with what Aki asks of him and assures Aki that despite him only having dreams of juggling some jugs, he is also serious about being a devil hunter. Aki walks out and tells him to learn manners, but as he walks out, he is greeted by Power, who is in handcuff, and Himeno, who is tasked to watch over Power. While Himeno thinks it's a bad idea to let Power live, Aki takes off Power's handcuff and states that as devil hunters, they still need devils like Power to help them fight. Then, Aki goes back to the HQ to report back to Makima, but before he steps inside her office, he makes sure he looks sharp. He then steps in and reports what happened to Denji and Power while lying a little to protect them, saying that Denji defeated the Bat Devil while buying time against the Leech Devil for Aki and his crew to arrive. However, Makima still has her suspicion, saying that Power and Denji are not allowed to travel that far away, and Aki defends them again, stating that since they managed to defeat 2 devils without any casualty, she should let them off. Makima agrees to this statement and tells Aki before leaving that he has become more flexible since Denji joined him. The next day, Aki wakes up and starts his day like usual, making coffee and brushing his teeth. He then drinks his coffee outside, accompanied by cigarettes, but then Denji wakes up and eats his breakfast. When Aki gets started on cooking lunch, someone suddenly starts banging on his door, and both he and Denji get ready for a fight. However, it turns out to be Power who is looking to move in, and when Aki calls Makima, asking her why she put him with 2 idiots, Makima tells him that she trusts him to be able to babysit the 2 devils. Makima assures him that Power has promised to behave, but unlike what she told Makima, Power acts revolting by throwing food around, refusing to flush, and even refusing to take a bath, which frustrates both Aki and Denji. That night, while Denji is cleaning the toilet that Power used, Power comes in and gestures that it's time for her to pay her debt and let Denji ping-pong her puddings.
Yes! Hell yeah!
Denji starts tweaking while Power sits on the toilet, waiting for Denji to make his move. She starts teasing him but tells Denji that he can only give her 3 squeezes, which Denji is more than happy to do. Power closes her eyes, waiting for Mr. Squishy, but when Denji squeezes, Power makes happy noises. However, some paddings drop from her shirt, revealing her actual size. Now without the pads, Power gets absolutely nerfed. But as she encourages Denji to keep going, he continues the squeeze as small melons matter too, and it leaves Denji confused, thinking how much he got scammed. The next day, it still leaves him feeling empty and traumatized as all Denji can think about is how he got scammed for wanting puddings, but only to get cardboard. Then he does paperwork with Makima on his side, who notices that he's acting weird, and when she asks him what's wrong, he explains that his first pudding experience was disappointing. She suddenly grabs his hand, and while telling him what all man needs to hear, which is size doesn't matter, and jiggling some jugs, she starts comforting her hand, making him caress her ears, and even taking a nibble of Denji's finger, almost making him cream. Finally, she pulls his hand to squeeze on her plots, sending him to Cloud 9. But as he realizes what's happening, he throws himself back and creams while tweaking. Makima approaches him, and in the kissing distance, she asks if she can ask him for a favor, to which Denji accepts, thinking that she wants him to clap her. However, she gets up and asks him to defeat the Gun Devil, which is a devil the devil hunters have wanted to slay for a long time but haven't been able to. She believes that Denji can be the one to do it, saying that he's strong enough, and tells him that if he beats the Gun Devil, she will fulfill any wish of his to come true. Denji can't believe what he's hearing, and when he asks Makima if the wish includes her gobbling his glizzy, Makima tells him that she would even gag on it if he can defeat the Gun Devil. Makima explains that the Gun Devil showed up more than a decade ago when gun violence was at its highest, resulting in a terrorist attack in America. One day in a humble family home, a little kid is ill due to the cold, but when his big brother asks to play, he accepts. They then go outside, and while at first the big brother wants to play alone, the little brother starts a snowball fight which they enjoy playing. The older brother then tells his little brother to get some gloves so they can play fetch, but after the little brother gets inside the house, the whole building gets yeeted by a strong wind, which leaves the older brother alone. It turns out the Gun Devil attacked the country, leaving 1.2 million people dead in 5 minutes. But after that incident, the Gun Devil is never seen again. Because of that incident, the fear of devils skyrockets, which only makes them stronger, and while they try to apply gun control to weaken the Gun Devil, they still fail to find and defeat him. While Denji does think that the Gun Devil is strong, he believes that his plot armor is thick enough to help him defeat the Gun Devil. To track the Gun Devil, Makima pulls out a suitcase filled with pieces from the Gun Devil, and when she pulls one out, it sticks back to the others. Makima explains that if a devil eats one of them, they will grow stronger, and if they find enough of these bullets, they will lead them to the Gun Devil. Meanwhile, Aki and Himeno have found another bullet inside a whale devil. And with this, Aki wants nothing more than to avenge the death of his little brother and his parents from the past. Days later, using the bullet, they detect a demon who consumed one of them, and Makima sends Aki and his team to handle the situation. They arrive at the hotel where the bullet leads them to the devil, and while they're used to this situation, they also bring Power and Denji with them. Aki tells them to have manners, and when they try to decline his order, he presents them with candies, which quickly shuts them up. One of Aki's members, Arai, asks Aki if it's safe to bring low-life losers like Power and Denji along, and Aki tells him that as they are both devils, they will take the point of this mission and will be slayed if they choose to betray the team. Suddenly, Himeno has a great idea and offers to whoever manages to defeat the target will receive a kiss on the cheek from her. While Arai wants it badly, saying that she shouldn't kiss someone like Denji or Power, Denji remembers what Makima promised him and tells Himeno that his motivation to defeat the devil is Makima's sweet cheeks and not a kiss from her crusty lips. Himeno feels amused by what Denji said and raises the offer, saying that she will kiss him on the lips and play tongue twister with him if he defeats the devil. After hearing this, Denji goes headfirst inside the hotel, and while Arai tries to stop him out of jealousy, the others follow from behind. Arai stops Denji, saying that Himeno's lips belong to him, but Denji doesn't care and tells him that he can get his sloppy seconds instead. Power and Kobeni join in the fun, And while seeing this, Aki asks Himeno, who's his senior, about her opinion on the rookies. While she does think that both Arai and Kobani are competent, she is worried as most devil hunters either die or go private after a year. She asks Aki for his opinion, and he doesn't give her a definite answer, which disappoints her. Years ago, while an injured Himeno visits her dead partner, the devil hunters assigned Aki as her new partner, and after Aki introduces himself to her, Himeno asks him, her sixth partner, to not die like her previous partners. Back in the hotel, Himeno stops their track and tells them that something is coming. A door opens, and from it, out comes a walking head. It lunges itself at Kobeni, but Himeno stops it with her ability, and for Power to slice it in half. Power starts boasting of how the head freezes in fear of her, but Himeno refuses that Power takes all the credit, and explains that her ability is the ghost hand, which is an unseen hand that she got from trading her right eye. Using the bullet, Aki determines that it's not the devil they're looking for, so they head upstairs. It amuses Power that Himeno would reveal her ability in front of her. But Himeno is not worried as she has more tricks up her sleeve. Suddenly, Power threatens Kobeni to see what Himeno would do, and she chokes Power with her ghost hand, saying that she could easily crush her throat without Power ever knowing. Despite her best efforts, Power can't stop the ghost hand. But Himeno lets her go, saying that it's better if they get along. As they reach the 9th floor, Arai takes point and sees the same blood splatter that Power created back on the 8th floor. He tells Eki that there's something wrong, and while Denji thinks that he misread, Arai goes back downstairs, only to pop back up from upstairs, and here they realize that there's something wrong. Himeno tells Kobeni to make a peace sign while she goes downstairs to check something, and after she goes downstairs, she meets Kobeni again, who is now tweaking out of fear. Aki tells Kobeni to stay still while he goes into one of the rooms to check something, but once inside, he notices that the window heads to another room. So he opens the window and goes to the other side, and when he opens the entrance door, he ends up meeting Kobeni again, this time from the room across. From another room, Denji tells him that the windows go nowhere, and here, Aki realizes that they are now trapped on the 8th floor. Then they all stay in one room to discuss, and despite all their efforts from before, they fail to find an exit. Arai suggests that if they are gone for too long, then other devil hunter will save them, but Himeno doesn't share his optimism as she thinks that they will all fall into the same trap. Himeno asks Aki about the bullet, and when he checks, it doesn't react at all. Out of the immense pressure, Kobeni starts tweaking, and despite Arai's best attempt to calm her down, telling her to remember why she became a devil hunter, she reveals that while her brother was sent to college, she was forced to work as either a devil hunter or as a service worker who gets clapped by old dudes for money every night, to which she picked devil hunter. She starts crying, wanting to go to college instead, but Power laughs at her, saying that her face looks clapped when crying, while Himeno calms her down, saying that devils feed on fear. Then, Aki notices that the clock has stopped, and because of this, he tells the others that time is frozen on this floor, meaning help will never arrive despite how long they are missing. Unlike the others who are panicking, Denji suggests that they should all sleep forever as time is not moving. And while they all call him an idiot, he sleeps anyway, not caring about what's going on. Hours later, Himeno wakes him up, and when he asks her for the update, she tells him that they are still yet to find an escape. She informs him that while Aki refuses to stop finding the devil, Arai, and Kobeni are in a room together, either sleeping or having panic attacks. Denji then asks about Power, and Himeno takes him to her where Power is preaching the truth about how Attack on Titan is the trashier version of Code Geass. Himeno then takes both of them to take turns watching over Arai and Kobeni, and when Himeno pulls out her cigarette, Denji notices that she smokes the same brand as Aki. She explains that she was the one who introduced Aki to cigarettes, and it takes her back years ago before Aki took on smoking. She offered him her cigarettes, but he refused to do so, not wanting to die early. She tells him that she will hold his word, and later, Himeno gets slapped by a random girl. When Aki asks who that is, Himeno explains that the person was her partner's wife who died. Himeno assures Aki that this always happens whenever her partner dies, but Aki refuses to take this disrespect and goes to chase the girl. Minutes later, he comes back, and when Himeno asks what he did, Aki reveals that he stuck a piece of gum on her clothes as an insult and tells Himeno that she should never be treated that way. Himeno starts laughing out of happiness to see that someone defended her, and later she takes Aki to dinner. She tells him again to smoke with her, and when he rejects, she convinces him that as they will work for a long time, it's better that he at least tries smoking. He takes her offer and declares that this is the only time that he will smoke, but in the present, he has become a regular smoker, and he asks Himeno to give him her cigarette. She puts the one in her mouth into his, and while Denji thinks it's unfair that he gets an indirect kiss from her, Aki tells him to shut up. He then informs them that the head devil power Slade is back and is now bigger. They rush outside and confront the head devil, who now looks like Play-Doh. He offers a contract for Aki and the group that he will free them, and in return, he gets to eat Denji, dead or alive. After hearing the contract offer, Kobeni comes out of the room with a knife in hand, and while she's shivering in fear, she demands that Denji give himself up. Kobeni charges at Denji, but both Aki and Himeno deliver her the two-piece fried chicken combo to knock her out and save Denji. Himeno suggests Aki use his fox devil to eat the head devil, but when Aki tries to do so, the fox devil doesn't show up as they are cut off from the outer world. Himeno then uses her ghost hand and starts violating the head devil, but with each hit that Himeno does, the head devil only grows larger in size. The monster tells them that they are trapped inside his stomach where he has no weakness, and tells them that the only way out is by accepting his contract offer. Denji thinks that the devil will probably lie anyway, but Himeno assures him that when a devil offers a contract, both parties have to fulfill it, or they will die. Arai pops out of his room and suggests that they should sacrifice Denji, saying that they will survive if they accept the contract offer. Aki rejects his suggestion, refusing to benefit the devil by sacrificing Denji. Then they sit around in the hallway, and Aki suggests that if they can't find a way out of there, he will use his sword. Himeno tells him that he can't use it, and while Denji tries to push Aki to use his sword, Himeno tells him no, and that it'll be better for Denji to die first before Aki uses his sword. Meanwhile, Arai finds that they are suddenly out of food, and when he looks at Power, he finds her chewing without a care. Suddenly, Kobeni pops up holding a knife and tells Arai that Power is behind this. As Arai tries defending Power, Kobeni starts tweaking, accusing Arai of defending Power and becoming a slave to devils. She gets aggressive with her knife, causing Arai to get scared and scream loudly. The monster hears the scream and grows bigger. It starts chasing Aki and the group, saying that their fear feeds him and that he, the Eternity Devil, will be the one who slays the Chainsaw Devil. Suddenly, the whole floor tilts sideways, and while the Eternity Devil is inviting Denji to come in his mouth, both Himeno and Arai beg Aki to sacrifice Denji for their survival. Aki decides to use his sword, but Himeno stops him using her ghost hand and apologizes to Denji as Aki using the sword will take life out of himself. She refuses for Aki to throw his life away and decides to sacrifice Denji. Suddenly, Arai shows up to constrain Denji, and from behind, Kobeni charges with a knife into Denji, but before she connects, Aki blocks her and gets himself stabbed. It shocks everyone, especially Himeno, who was constraining Aki, and he tells them that while Denji is an idiot, he needs Denji so Aki can finally avenge his family's death against the Gun Devil. But he knows that he can't do it without Denji's help. After hearing that, Denji commands Power to use her Blood Devil ability to save Aki, and he decides to sacrifice himself. Before he jumps down, Denji looks at the shaken Himeno and tells her that if he slays this Eternity Devil, he still expects her to fulfill her promise and play tongue twister with him. Denji plans to use his chainsaw, saying that for some reason, the Eternity Devil is scared of his chainsaws. He thinks that if he manages to cause so much pain to the devil, he will want to clap his own life out of the immense pain Denji causes him. Denji tells Aki that after he saves him, he doesn't want to owe Aki anything, so Denji transforms and dives into the Eternity Devil's mouth. From the monster's mouth out comes Denji in his chainsaw devil form, who starts slashing, scaring the others who have never seen Denji in his devil form before. The monster manages to rip off Denji's arm, but despite the pain, Denji keeps attacking the Eternity Devil. Watching this, Power is worried as Denji is losing a lot of blood after tanking every attack, and after a while, the monster manages to constrain Denji, causing him to lose enough blood that his chainsaws disappear. However, Denji bites a chunk of the monster to gain more blood and starts laughing like a maniac while attacking more. Seeing this reminds Himeno of what her master, Kishibe, once told her, that the hunters that devils feared the most are the ones that are insane. With all of Himeno's previous partners dead, Kishibe deemed all of them dead because they were all sane, but when Kishibe asked Himeno about Aki, Himeno deemed Aki to also be insane as he wanted to defeat the Gun Devil. Just like Aki, most hunters, including Himeno, want to defeat the Gun Devil, but Kishibe tells Himeno to teach Aki properly because, unlike the others, Aki is insane enough to actually want to really fight the Gun Devil. However, after seeing all her partners die, Himeno doesn't want Aki to face the same fate, so she tries to invite him to become a private devil hunter and forget about the Gun Devil instead, but Aki refuses to do so as he wants nothing else but the Gun Devil's head on his table. Himeno knows that if Aki were to fight the Gun Devil, he would lose due to him not being crazy enough, but now after seeing Denji slaughtering the Eternity Devil, Himeno thinks to herself that she has finally found the Devil Hunter crazy and strong enough to be able to defeat the Gun Devil. As Denji falls in battle, Himeno uses her ghost hand to pull his lever again to wake him up, and Denji starts laughing, saying how he can just drink all the blood around him and keep going. And this scares the Eternity Devil. 3 days later, while the others are starving, Himeno lays down next to Aki and tells him that the battle is over as the Eternity Devil surrenders and begs Denji to slaughter his heart after all the pain he endured, which Denji gladly does. Then, they manage to escape the hotel, and while Denji is happy that he got a Gun Devil's bullet from his win, he collapses after a 3-day battle. But Himeno catches his fall. With Denji on her back, she tells Kobeni and Arai to go back to the office to report, while she and Power will carry Denji and Aki to the hospital. Days later, after slaying another devil, Himeno tells Aki that they should have a welcoming party for the rookies, and when Aki asks why, Himeno explains that it's so both Kobeni and Arai can apologize to Denji for wanting to sacrifice him, and to also stop them from quitting. Aki agrees to her suggestion with the condition that they have to commence the party this week as he wants to invite Makima, who is going to leave to find reinforcements so she can add protection for Denji, who is targeted by devils. Himeno expresses her curiosity on why Makima is so interested in Denji, saying that because of him, Makima is now often staying in the city. She suggests that they should get Makima drunk so she would spill the tea, and days later, while they are having their party, Makima is not there yet as she will be late. Kobeni then arrives later, and when she starts eating, she expresses her joy at how delicious the food is as she never ate this good when all her wages are sent back to her deadbeat parents. Meanwhile, Power is busy munching on every food, refusing to share, while Denji is more focused on Himeno. He asks her about the kiss, and Himeno tells him that she will kiss him when she's a bit tipsier to save herself from embarrassment. They suggest that the rookies introduce themselves, and while Aki's rookies introduce themselves without issues, they ask a fellow devil hunter about his rookie's whereabouts. He informs them that his rookies all died recently, and after hearing this, both Kobeni and Arai are even more scared. Meanwhile, Himeno is already drunk, and after seeing her flirty behavior, Denji sees his chance for a kiss. He keeps looking at her lips, but suddenly, Makima shows up, surprising everyone who has never seen her before. As she's sitting down, she asks Denji if he's really kissing someone, while Himeno wants him to gobble her tongue, causing Denji to start panicking, not knowing what to answer. Not wanting Makima to know that he wants to kiss Himeno, Denji changes the topic and boasts to Makima about how he managed to get one of the Gun Devil's bullets. Makima is impressed by what Denji did, and seeing how they're talking about Denji. Aki takes his chance and asks Makima why Denji is targeted by more Gun Devil-related devils. Instead of answering, Makima finishes her beer and tells Aki that she will reveal the reason if he can beat her into drinking. Aki takes her challenge, and while Himeno joins the challenge, they both lose to Makima, who drinks alcohol like a fish. Suddenly, Himeno kisses Denji while Makima is watching, and as Denji is enjoying the sensation of playing tongue twister, which almost makes him cream, Himeno suddenly pukes in his mouth, which is what you would love to experience. As Denji chews the puke, it reminds him of the time when he and Pokshita saw some rats eating a drunk man's puke, but this time Denji is the rat. Arai helps him puke it out and tells Denji how lucky he is to taste Himeno's barf, but in tears and traumatized, Denji tells Arai that he's a true degenerate. Afterward, while the others are preparing to go home, Makima notices that Denji is missing as it turns out Himeno is bringing him home with her. Himeno carries Denji into her room, almost stumbling to a chair, but only just managing to lay him on her bed. While drunk, she takes off his shoes and lets him sleep while she goes to the bathroom, takes off her clothes and showers to refresh herself. She then gets some beer from the fridge and drinks while crouching to prevent from falling. Suddenly, Denji wakes up, not knowing where he is and looking for water to drink. Himeno drunkenly walks to him carrying her beer and gives it to him using a mouth-to-mouth technique. While drunk, Himeno starts wondering why Denji is in her room, but after seeing how much Denji likes Makima, Himeno feels jealous, saying that he can do better than Makima. She lies down next to him, playing with his lips, while her plots are pressing into him. And while Denji is still confused, Himeno offers him to do it with her. Denji asks her what she means, and Himeno bluntly tells him that she wants him to lay her the almighty pipe. And it brings Denji back to the bar where Makima tells Denji to get some fresh air. Outside, she gives him some medicine to take it home, but Denji expresses his feeling of disappointment where from now on, every kiss that he gets will remind him of the taste of puke. After seeing how distressed Denji is, Makima puts her lollipop into his mouth to numb his pain and tells him to remember her indirect kiss instead, which feels like a lollipop. Because of this, Denji declines Himeno's offer to clap cheeks and sleeps on the floor, saying to himself that the only cheeks he wants are Makima's sweet cheeks. The next morning, Himeno wakes him up and offers him breakfast. She reveals that she was blacked out and didn't remember anything. And when she asks Denji if she gobbled his glizzy, Denji assures her that she didn't, as his glizzy is reserved for Makima's sweet lips. After hearing this, Himeno can see clearly that Denji is head over heels for Makima, so she offers to be his friend and make an alliance with her. She tells him that she will help him get together with Makima if Denji helps her get together with Aki. Denji accepts her offer happily, and she tells him to bring Aki and Power from time to time so they all can have breakfast together. But even after hearing that, Denji wonders if Makima would join. Meanwhile, Makima is on a train to Kyoto to meet the devil hunters higher-ups who she really doesn't want to meet. But when the train goes inside a tunnel, she and her assistant get shot dead by attackers, leaving them in blood. Back in Tokyo, while Aki and his group are eating together, Kobeni and the others are getting attacked by the same attackers who shot Makima. Meanwhile, Denji and the group are eating relaxingly when Denji notices the stranger across from them who is yapping nonsense about how Saitama is stronger than Goku. But he then switches his attention to Denji and reveals that he's the grandson of Denji's former Yakuza boss. He knows that Denji is targeted by the Gun Devil, so he exercises his Fourth Amendment and shoots Denji in the head. As he tries to shoot the others, they dodge and Power manages to neutralize him before Aki summons his Fox Devil to eat him and destroy the whole building. It leaves them vulnerable, and while Aki is reassessing his surroundings, the Fox Devil tells him that what she ate is not a human nor a devil. The stranger slices the fox in half and reveals himself as the Katana Devil. Aki pulls out his sword, and despite the devil's best attempts, Aki manages to stab him 3 times and activates his Cursed Devil, a being whose sole job is to collapse someone's life, who lives through Aki's sword and slays the Katana Devil. Aki looks to Power, who informs him that Himeno needs a doctor, and he looks at the man's gun, and it confuses him how he manages to get a gun when it's banned in Japan. Suddenly, a girl pops up out of nowhere and expresses how impressed she is to see Aki's ability. She approaches the Katana Devil's corpse and revives him with ease, but this time, after underestimating Aki, the Katana Devil blitzes Aki without a sweat. With Aki on his knees, the Katana Devil approaches him to finish him, and while Himeno watches, she tries using her Ghost Devil, but she rejects Himeno's demand for help out of fear of the blonde girl. However, Himeno offers the Ghost Devil everything she has just to save Aki, and after the Ghost Devil accepts, she turns into a 1,000-armed monster who, despite the Katana Devil's best struggle, manages to neutralize him completely harmless. From her deal, Himeno loses each of her limbs just to defeat the Katana Devil, but in her heart she's doing this for Aki, so that when she eventually dies, she can finally feel Aki cry and pour his feelings out for her after all this time. However, the Katana Devil begs the blonde to help him, and she uses her own devil and summons an even bigger one that eats the Ghost Devil easily. The blonde then pulls back the snake who defeated the Ghost Devil, and when Aki looks towards Himeno who saved him, all he sees are her clothing and eye patch as she no longer exists. As the dust settles, the Katana Devil tells the blonde that Power has run away, but while they're not watching, what's left of Himeno's Ghost Devil goes to Denji, and pulls his string to wake him up and transform him into the Chainsaw Devil. With him awakened, Denji targets the Katana Devil, and while they fight a clash between a chainsaw versus blade, the blonde Sawatari calls for more backup. As the fight continues, Denji manages to be the aggressor and pushes Katana back, but then some goons with guns show up to help the Katana Devil, and while Denji easily defeats them, It makes it harder for him to fight the Katana Devil. He then tries using one of the Yakuza members as hostage, and while Katana seems like he surrenders, he suddenly instant transmission behind Denji and slices both him and the Yakuza member in half like they're cosplaying Gojo. With Denji defeated, he picks him up and prepares to leave, but then he transforms back into a human. All around the city, all of Makima's devil hunters are shot dead, and in the train, the Yakuza attackers plan to hide. But before they get to do anything, Makima is already standing back up like she's unharmed. In Kyoto, the devil hunters there are informed that Makima's devil hunters are attacked, and they think that Makima is dead. But then, as the train arrives, they are greeted by people panicking and running out of the train. Makima then walks out full of blood and greets the devil hunters as if nothing happened and orders them to take care of the bodies inside the train that she left behind. They're worried about Makima, but she assures them that it's not her blood as it's the blood of the dead attackers inside. With Tokyo in attack and Denji in trouble, the devil hunters suggest to Makima that they go to Tokyo and help them, but Makima tells them that because it's too far, they can't do anything. However, she orders them to bring her 30 convicts who have a death sentence, the highest temple in Kyoto, and some clean clothes so she can keep her drip clean as she's about to do what she can do to help her devil hunter in Tokyo. Then they manage to bring a truck full of convicts where they are given their last meals before Makima uses them, and when they arrive, they see that they are at a temple. To ensure her unfathomable drip, Makima changes her clothes and prepares herself for her ritual, using her devil contract. Back in Tokyo, just as the Katana Devil and Sawatari are about to escape with Denji's half-body, a crow suddenly shows up to watch them. One of the Yakuza members starts tweaking, which confuses them, and he screams at them, saying that something is wrong, but before he gets to do anything, he suddenly splatters everywhere, leaving himself nothing but a puddle of blood. Sawatari suspects that something is up and calls one of the members to check Makima's dead body, but before he gets to say anything, he too splatters everywhere like a tomato. In the Kyoto temple, Makima has the convicts lined up, all wearing blindfolds, including the devil hunters, who are not allowed to see or know what kind of devil contract Makima possesses. Makima approaches one of the convicts and tells him to say the name of one Yakuza member, and after he says it, the Yakuza member whose name is mentioned gets mushed into a pulp. The other Yakuza members start panicking, begging for this nightmare to stop, but with each of their names spoken by a convict, and with a twirl of Makima's hand, each and every single one of them splatters everywhere as they can't do anything against Makima's ability. With all the convicts dead, Makima tells the devil hunters accompanying her to open their blindfolds and that she has to go back to Tokyo. Back with the Katana Devil, it leaves only him and Sawatari alive after they saw every one of the Yakuza members' deaths, and Sawatari knows that Makima is behind an overpowered like this. As they plan to escape with Denji's body, Kobeni pops up, alive and well as it turns out. When the grandma tried shooting her in Arai, she was protected by Arai. With a knife in her hand, Kobeni charges at them, and despite their best effort, using the Snake Devil, Kobeni goes full ninja, cuts the Katana Devil's hand, and shoots him afterward. Sawatari tries to shoot back, but Kobeni manages to use Denji's body shield and scares her off. Sawatari takes her comrade into the van, and while Kobeni tries to shoot, she manages to drive away. It leaves Kobeni with Denji's body, and she apologizes for wanting to sacrifice him the other day. Suddenly, she starts crying and laughing at the same time, remembering how she was saved by Arai, and then she shoots the old prune with her own gun. She realizes how close she is to insanity, so she plans to tell Himeno that she wants to quit next time, not knowing about her fate. At the train station, Makima arrives with the 2 devil hunters that were with her, and they meet up with a surviving devil hunter from Tokyo. He informs Makima that with today's attack that left them with a lot of dead devil hunters, the higher-up has decided to combine all of the devil hunter teams into one and for Makima to lead them. He then hands Makima a letter and explains that he wants to resign, which disappoints Makima, and when he asks her if she knew that the Yakuza was going to attack them, Makima refuses to answer, stating that a civilian like him should not know a devil hunter's business. As Makima leaves, the 2 devil hunters are panicking and try to tell Makima that they're also not joining her team, and while Makima seems calm, she is disappointed to hear that from them. The day after the battle, Aki wakes up in a hospital room, and next to him are Denji and Power, who brought him some apples. The next moment, while Denji is eating some of the apples, Power demands that he share them with her, but Denji tells her that she can't have them because she ran during the battle, and this causes them to start fighting for the apples. Aki asks them if anyone survived from his division, and Denji tells him that only Kobayashi survived aside from them. Denji and Power leave the room to talk to Makima, and before leaving, Denji leaves him one apple out of pity. After he's now alone in the room, Aki pulls out his sword and asks the cursed devil how long he still has left to live, and the cursed devil informs him that he only has 2 years left to live. Instead of the apple, Aki takes the cigarette next to it. But before he lights it up, it reminds him of when Himeno helps him light a cigarette. Aki drops his cigarette and starts crying, realizing that he lost the woman who truly loved him. Meanwhile, Denji hears him crying from the outside, and while he does understand his feelings, it confuses him on why he is not sad after Himeno's death. Denji remembers how Himeno was the first person who truly wanted to be his friend, and he wonders if it's because he's a horrible person that he didn't cry. After thinking deeper, Denji concludes if the others and Makima died, he probably wouldn't be sad, and it makes him wonder if it's because he already lost his heart. He quickly pulls himself back and takes Power to meet Makima, but behind them, the devil hunters from Kyoto, Hirose, and Tendo come to visit Aki, and they inform him that they are here after Makima ordered them to help coach the new team of Aki's previous team, Special Division 4. Meanwhile, Makima is explaining to Denji and Power that she wants to strengthen the team after seeing how the gun devil targets Denji's heart, so she introduces them to their new teacher, Kishibe. Before doing anything, Kishibe asks them important questions, such as whether they pick humans or devils, all the way to asking them if they think that Krillin can defeat Saitama, and they both answer that Krillin would dog-walk Saitama easily. After hearing their answers, Kishibe deems them perfect and a rare breed, so he tells Makima to leave them because training starts now. Kishibe then hugs them and introduces himself as a teacher who loves booze, clapping cheeks, and clapping at Devil's life even more. With enough force, Kishibe breaks their necks, leaving them paralyzed on the floor, but then he pulls out a bag of blood and feeds it to them to bring them back to normal. He tells them that while their biology is fully human, blood is enough to bring them back full power. Kishibe calls Denji a weak scrub who kept getting his cheeks whooped, but because the gun devil is after him, Kishibe intends to train them. He reveals that he, the best devil hunter there is, has never trained devils before. But after getting drunk, he gets the idea that the best way to train them is by making them strong enough to defeat him, or he will hunt them down without end. With her ability, Power pulls out a hammer to give to Denji as they prepare to fight Kishibe, but with a swift movement, Kishibe easily claps Denji with a knife and counters Power by slicing her neck open. After seeing them bleed to death, Kishibe deems Denji to be immortal and Power to be mostly immortal. As they are too weak in front of him, he plans to make them stronger than Goku. Hours later, after countless deaths, Kishibe leaves them, saying that he will come to their house tomorrow for more battles. After he leaves, Denji suddenly falls and starts tweaking off his brain like he's on crack, so Power starts smacking his head to get his brain in tune. He then goes back to normal, and after the number of deaths they both experience, it leaves them traumatized. They walk home, and during it they realize how suck it is to have Kishi hunting them every day until they can beat him. But suddenly, Power has an idea. She tells him that they can beat Kishibe by combining their IQ to outsmart him, and this gives them both hope that they can finally win. The next morning, Kishibe arrives drunk at their apartment to start their training, but both Power and Denji have gone full Jimmy Neutron with their plan. When Kishibe is about to open the door, Power lunges a staff at him, which he dodges, but then she tries attacking him from above, which he counters too. Suddenly, Denji pops up and swings his axe at Kishibe, but he gets kicked in the jaw, which counters his attempt. While they did lose, Kishibe tells them that he was impressed by their attempt, so he's going to leave them for today. Denji starts getting happy and tells Power about it, but when he raises his head, Kishibe yeets a knife to his head, leaving Denji dead, and tells him to never believe what his hunters tell him. Back in the hospital, Aki tries to summon his Fox Devil, but after he fails, Kurose tells him that his Fox Devil will never help him again after he makes her eat something as disgusting as the Katana Devil. With Aki's life shortened by the Cursed Devil, they suggest that Aki retire from this job and live the rest of his life in peace. However, with his family's death, and recently the death of Himeno, he tells them that he refuses to quit, so they suggest that Aki make a new contract with an even stronger devil. They leave him, but suddenly, a woman comes into the room, and when Aki sees her face, His eyes widen to see how similar she is to Himeno. She introduces herself as Himeno's little sister and hands Aiki a letter. He opens it, and inside is Himeno's letter to her sister, where she often asks about her father's well-being, but also vents about Himeno's feelings towards Aki, and how much she wants him to join her and become a private devil hunter, so they can finally be together. The next day, Aki goes with Kurose and Tendo to the prison where the devil hunter keeps their devils, and they encounter a locked room. Kurose explains that the devil inside is the future devil, and before Aki, there are two people who made a contract with it, where one had to give half of his life for the contract, and the other had to watch Boku no Pico on repeat as his price. Aki enters the room and meets the future devil, who starts dancing while yapping about how in the future, the One Piece ended, and it disappoints the readers, making it the worst anime all time. Aki asks the future devil to name his price, but before he does that, the devil asks Aki to get into his stomach so he can see his future first. Aki puts his head into the future devil's stomach, and after a few seconds, he starts laughing, which confuses Aki. He asks to look inside Aki's right eye, surprising Aki with how cheap the price is, and the devil tells him that his price with Aki is cheap because the future he sees is amazing. Meanwhile, Denji and Power continue their training, and after they manage to land a hit on Kishibe, he tells them that they have grown stronger and will now only face him once a week, which pleases the both of them. He informs them that as Division 4 will soon go on their first mission to attack and defeat the Katana Devil, they will both undergo even harder training under him and fight him for real. Denji tells Kishibe that he will spare his life if he gets the chance, as he considers Kishibe to be the person who helped him become better. Then Kishibe meets with Makima for a drink, and he starts drinking heavily and tells Makima that he started caring for his students the same way he cared for all his students who died in battle. Makima asks him why he wants to meet, and Kishibe reveals that he suspects Makima to know about the attack against the devil hunters and does nothing to stop it. Even though Makima was also attacked, Kishibe doesn't trust her, but he tells her that as long as she's fighting for humanity against the devils, he has no issues. The next day, Kurose and Tendo drive Aki back to the HQ, but on their way there, Kurose tells Aki that he doesn't like him for acting high and mighty for having a motivation against the Gun Devil. He reveals that he and Tendo also have hatred against the Gun Devil, but unlike Aki, they don't have the ability to fight him. Aki tells this loser to shut his mouth as he doesn't care what he thinks, but then, after they drop Aki off at the HQ, Kurose tells Aki that while he hates him, he also is rooting for him to win and get his revenge against the Gun Devil. Meanwhile, Makima is having a meeting with one of the Yakuza heads and asks him about the previous attack against the Devil Hunters. The boss tells her that the attack was not under his command, and he shows her a picture of Sawatari, saying that she was the person who rallied some of the Yakuza members to launch an attack. He explains that the Gun Devil asked for money in trade for giving Sawatari and her men some gun and ammunition so they can attack the Devil Hunters. After hearing this, Makima asks the boss to hand her the names of the Yakuza members who are involved with the Gun Devil. And while the boss is happy to hand her the names of his members, he refuses to give her the names of the gang members from different families. He tells her that if he gives out those names, it will start a war between gang families which he cannot afford. The boss tries reasoning with Makima by saying that the Yakuza cannot fight each other as it will cause foreign gangs from other countries to take their chances and invade Japan. After hearing this, Makima pulls out a bag, and while the boss laughs at her attempt to bribe him, she tells him that it's not a bribe, but it's a bag filled with the eyes of people that he and other Yakuza members here love. The boss opens and gets shocked seeing the eyes inside, and Makima explains she knows someone who can help put them back safely to the person. One of the members tries to attack Makima, but stops after seeing her glare, and he suddenly bleeds from the nose and dies. She tells the boss that his reasoning is absolute cheeks, and that he only cares about protecting himself after all the evil deeds the Yakuza did. Meanwhile, Division 4 has arrived at their target, and they start their mission. While Kobani is scared and wants to go home, Power and Denji are hyped to fight after all the training they did. Aki approaches Kishibe asking for a plan, but Kishibe tells Aki that there are no plans apart from a full-on attack. While the others enter, a police officer and a devil hunter ask Kishibe about what they need to do, and Kishibe orders them to guard the exits and the basement. Kishibe adds that while they can handle the terrorists inside, the police have to handle the fiends like Denji and Power who are considered unstable and unsafe if they run outside the building. In the basement, it's full of zombies, and more of the devil hunter's fiends show up. One is Beams, which is a shark fiend that is able to swim through surfaces. Second is the violence fiend who wears a mask and releases poison gases. Third is the spider fiend who turns into a spider. Lastly, it's the angel devil who will clap people's lives if they touch her. While Denji and the group of fiends are fighting off the zombies, the angel devil asks Aki for a handkerchief to clean herself, and when he gives her a handkerchief, it surprises her how brave he is to almost touch her. A henchman shoots at Aki, but the angel protects him and gives Aki an opening to smack him. Aki then orders his team to leave the zombies to the others, and instead finds Sawatari and the Katana Devil by splitting up. Then, Aki enters a hallway, and from a door out comes a man with a gun, but Aki manages to dodge the bullet and uppercuts him. More men with guns show up and aim at Aki, but before they manage to pull the trigger, they all suddenly die, and here, Aki realizes that Makima is also helping them from afar. Aki continues his journey and meets Sawatari, who was responsible for Himeno's death. Using her ability, she summons Himeno's ghost, which surprises Aki and orders it to attack him. Aki manages to dodge and counter the ghost's every attack, using the future devil's ability in his right eye. However, the ghost overwhelms Aki and manages to catch him, and Sawatari orders it to choke Aki to death. As Aki loses consciousness, he dreams about Himeno and the first time she offered him a cigarette, which to Aki is a precious, simpler time he wished he had appreciated much more. He wakes up on the floor without the ghost's hand around his neck, and when he looks forward, he sees the ghost forwarding her hand to Aki. She opens it, and on her hand is a cigarette with the writing "Easy Revenge" on it, which reminds him of Himeno. Aki remembers what Himeno told him, that her ghost doesn't have eyes and only sees through fear, so Aki easily walks past the ghost and climbs on it without fear, as all the ghost is reminding Aki of the woman he loves, Himeno. It shocks Sawatari to see this, and with his sword, Aki slashes the ghost, which is what remains of Himeno. Before Sawatari gets to do anything, Kobeni appears behind her, a knife on her neck, and forces her to surrender. Seeing Kobeni here, Aki asks her why she didn't quit, and Kobeni tells him that it's because her wages are near. Meanwhile, Denji is stuck in an elevator with Power, who's eating a zombie's hand, which disgusts him who's seeing it. The elevator door then opens to a floor full of zombies, and instead of avoiding it, Power announces herself to them, declaring that their zombie cheeks are for her to clap. Meanwhile, Denji simply closes the elevator door and continues to look for the Katana Devil on another floor. On the 13th floor, the door opens and Denji is greeted by his target alongside two men with guns. The Katana Devil begs him to talk, and when Denji agrees, he tells Denji that if he plays his card right, the Katana Devil is willing to surrender. He tells Denji that after the death of the Yakuza boss on his hand, the whole group feels lost and wants revenge on Denji. The Katana Devil tells Denji that while they were zombies, Denji should have felt guilt for clapping their life away as they were once humans. So the Katana Devil proposes that Denji take his own life and go to an isekai to adventure with Subaru to make it fair for both sides. After some deep thought process, Denji tells him no and that he should lick his toes instead. With his offer denied, the Katana Devil and Denji fight outside the building after they throw themselves off the building. Denji gets kicked into a building below, but it has no effect, and they continue their battle of blades. With the Katana Devil as their aggressor, Denji backs off and ends up getting kicked and lands on top of a train. The Katana Devil acknowledges that Denji has grown in strength and asks him why he keeps fighting. Denji tells him that he wants to protect the good life he has received, and he wants to beat him so Makima will praise him and potentially let him lick her toes. They continue the fight, and while they clash blades, the Katana Devil kicks Denji downwards into the train. As they continue the fight, a civilian gets involved, leaving Denji open for the Katana Devil to go full shinobi and chop both of his arms. With this, the Katana Devil sees his victory and demands Denji to apologize for what he did to his grandfather. But Denji shows him that the battle is not over as he still has one chainsaw on his head. Thinking he will win, they clash blades one more time, and while the katana manages to destroy Denji's chainsaw, Denji starts laughing. Before the Katana Devil knows it, he splits into two as Denji manages to hide a chainsaw on his leg that cuts through the Katana Devil's body, leaving him in two pieces. Afterward, the Katana Devil wakes up exposed and tied up to the train. Denji shows up and asks him about himself, realizing that they are both similar as the devil saved them both. The Katana Devil refuses to answer, saying that he will clap Makima in front of Denji, so Denji decides to instead play a little contest after hearing what he had to say. Aki shows up and reports back to the others that the Katana Devil is caught, but before they all arrive, Denji suggests that they play a game kicking the Katana Devil's baby jewels and determine the winner by who can make him scream louder. While Aki tries to be a good devil hunter, Denji argues that this man is the person behind Himeno's death. Aki pulls out the cigarette that reminds him of Himeno, and after some thinking, he agrees to the contest, which scares the Katana Devil, and they take turns whacking his golden pickle to a pulp. With every kick and hit they deliver on the poor guy's baby jewels, Aki presents this as a present to Himeno, who watches over him. After their win, Makima reports back to the higher-up and tells him that the mastermind, Sawatari, was once a devil hunter who had a contract with the Gun Devil, and she sold guns to the Yakuza in return. She has to get the Chainsaw Devil's heart. However, before they get to interrogate her, Sawatari uses her own snake to bite her own head off, leaving Kobeni traumatized. With the success of the operation, they manage to get a kilo of the Gun Devil's bullet flesh, and after combining it with what they already have, they can finally track down the Gun Devil and slay him for good. Meanwhile, Denji and his roommates are enjoying their normal day, playing around, shopping for groceries, and bonding stronger. They eat dinner together to celebrate their win and laugh together until the night comes for them. Just then, Aki steps out to get some fresh air and smokes the cigarette from Himeno's ghost. As he breathes it in, he enjoys the sensation while thinking about Himeno, who has left him. In his sleep, Denji dreams of a narrow alleyway, and as he keeps walking, he meets a mysterious door. But he knows this dream well as he keeps dreaming about it and forgets afterward. From the door, Pokita talks to him, and while Denji asks him to come out, Pokita begs him to not open the door. If you watched this anime recap and made it to the end, comment the creepier the girl, the sweeter the cheeks. If you like anime recaps like this, watch this video.